So about tools, I was checking my Instagram. I'm new at Instagram. And I found this Brazilian guy that he makes some tools. And I thought it was so cool. Like I have this woody winder from Wellington Fibers, and I like it and I use it a lot. But I do have problems with this part of it that is a little bit flimsy, right? And also this thing, the fiber tends to stick there. I always have a little bit of issue. As a matter of fact, only today I discovered that I can change the position of it. But either way, I use it here. So it's a very good tool. But then I saw this guy in Brazil that he has the same thing. But the difference is, if you look at where they have this part here, it's a metal and it's a thicker one. He has this that would probably move it and have the same effect of that. And the other thing that I like is that he has only one place for the plastic that makes it roll work. So I love mine, but I like this better. That's the first thing. And he also do a skein winder. Let me see if I find it. And he does other things too. But he has a skein winder that I really, really like. I want to see if I have one picture of the skein. He has most of the. Okay, but here you can see. If you look here on the top of the skein winder, it has a sort of a lead there. And that helps a lot, because the problem that I have two problems with this one. I love it. I got it from Knit Peaks. It was very cheap comparatively. I don't know, I'm saying comparatively to what you buy here, right? In Canada. But I have one problem with this. The problem is this little metal here keeps always coming out, and then this goes up, and then everything is off. So I have to stop what I'm doing and put it back to work. Maybe it's me. There's a good probability. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I like the fact, and I would appreciate if my husband could find a way to put something here for the pieces of wood not to go up this area. So something that I could put on the top that would not allow them to go up. Because if they don't go up, I think the metal will stay in place. But otherwise, this is painful. Let me just put it. So since we are talking about tooling, I'm just going to talk about my new spinning wheel. So I did a little bit of testing because I started spinning, and so I did a little bit. And this is all Navajo ply or chain ply, and it's okay. I can do it, because I was thinking, how am I going to do it? I can do it. So I used the spinning wheel for all this yarn. This is a 4-ply, and this ones, I have 3 that are 3-ply merino and 1-ply merino, 50% merino, 50% silk. And this is 4-ply merino because I ran out of the 50-50. And so I spun all these singles at once, and then I ran out of fiber, so I spun more 4 bobbins to get this yarn. And this one feels a little bit harder. So what I'm getting with this is how to know, like, too much twist or too little twist, because I don't see the difference with the thing. So I still have to work on it. They're nice. I do believe that it will not be too hard, but it's definitely harder than this one. Like, it has more twist. So I hope that when I wash, it will lose a little bit more. It will, but this will probably too. So it's good. The thing that I thought that I have some adjustment to do is the fact that this doesn't stop. So I spun all this, and I mean spun and ply, in less than a week. And here I have, I think, around 500 grams of yarn, right? Of 4-ply yarn. And so this is fast. But the thing is, you don't have that break, like if you are spinning, you're threading, and then suddenly you have a fire going to your nose. Well, you can let the hand go, but the spinning wheel is not going to stop because it's just going, right? Or I had the paddle on the floor and I had stopped spinning, and then one of my dogs stepped on it and the spinning wheel went. Or even if you want, like you were watching, normally I'm watching a YouTuber while I'm spinning, and then suddenly there's this commercial and skip ad, and if I go to skip ad, the spinning wheel is going. So and that will cause to have a little bit more twist in that amount of yarn than the regular. For this reason, when I was plying, I tried to put the bobbins far away from me so that the twist would have a chance to spread a little bit and reduce the amount. So that was good. So this is my spinning wheel. My husband bought this box for me to put it. He wanted to have divisions for this and that, but really what fits is just the spinning wheel and the tools. I have to organize better the paddles and the thing, but I feel safer, and I have been really putting on this box every night when I finish the spinning, just to be sure the dogs are not going to make it fall or whatever, damage it, right? So it's my baby. I'm taking care of it. I'm leaving it here. So I'm going to leave this yarn here because I still have to talk a little bit about it. I think next I'm going to talk about felting, but I'll get to the project bags. So I've been working on some sleepers. So I did the batches long ago, and then I wrapped them around the water shoes, and I have 2 pairs here. Oops. To be done, that are ready for me to start working on them. And I have 3 pairs that I have done, taken off the shoes, and what I need to do now is to do the finishing, like knit here. And I'm thinking in at least one of them, I'm going to add a leather sole so that it lasts longer, right? So I have different sizes. I have different friends, so they're all different sizes. You see, this is humongous. This is just big. And those are the regular ones. So I have to do this. I have 3 here that I have to work, and I will try to make a leather sole in one of them at least. So there. The other thing on felting that I'm working on is my sister lives in Brazil, and houses in Brazil normally do not have heating. So when it's cold, it's cold. And she lives in the south of Brazil, where it is cold. But cold is that sometimes in the winter you have a week of 0 degrees, -1. But it's still, when you live there and you're used to warmer weather, then it gets cold. And she has cats, and she says that her cats are very cold. So I'm working on a felted house for the cats. This is an attempt. So I had a yoga mat, and I cut into rectangles, and I put fiber around it. But because it's very large, I would not have, I wouldn't be able to put it on the stocking. So I got a big lingerie bag that I had, and I put it here, and I'm going to start washing it on that. So this, that I call a little project bag, was made in the same way. I had a round or 3 round pieces that I cut from the yoga mat. And then what I did is I worked on the felted this way. Then I cut the piece, took it out, and I worked more on the felt here. And I got something like this that I put the button, and I can use it as a project bag. So my first project bag here. So I'm hoping this is going to work. I think I need to get a balloon to see if I let it dry with the balloon after I cut, so that it gets the shape that I want. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's an attempt, and it's for her cat, so hopefully it will work. That's another work in progress. So, I normally do not have project bags. The first project bags that I had were these bags, and I designed it when I was living in Toronto and helping my husband. And they were for 2 things. For drop spindles, because they have the hole, but they protect your spindle anyway, and you can have fiber here, right? So if you take it out, you have your drop spindle. Ooh, this is a surprise. I haven't taken this for a while. And you have some fiber there. And this is good enough. It protects my spindle. Nice spindles are expensive, so I just have one because I don't really like to drop spindle. But, so this is my first bag, and I made a bunch of them. And so this was my design, and I made them, handmade them all. My husband helped me with the stitches and everything. And that one, can you give me that one again, please? Thank you, honey. So this one has a different stitch on the side. And he helped me, and I did the bags. So this was my first bag. And so let's talk about the projects inside the bags, because I'm going to talk about it now, and then I'll be in peace forever. So this one is my socks that I haven't touched them for a while, and I will just show it when it's done. I have only one part done, and I'm trying to think how I'm going to knit it, because now I knit Portuguese style, and if I do color work on Portuguese style, you do it from the back side, and it has a lot of advantages for that. But the problem here is because this pattern is so irregular, if I do it from the back side, I'm not going to see the pattern, so there are more chances of making mistakes. So I have to think about how to do this, and that's why I haven't worked on it. But I do love the socks, and I will definitely finish them someday. But next time I bring it is when they're going to be finished. So that's the thing. In this bag, I had leftovers of a yarn that I bought, that is 60%, what is that? 60% synthetics and 40% wool. I don't like this kind of yarn. I was disappointed with the fact the blouse, the sweater that I made turned out beautiful, but it's not good. So I'm going to use it anyway. And what I did is I went to Drops and I got, I don't know if you can see, some pictures of hats. And I'm going to use it for making hats. And then I'll use up the yarn. So, well, this belongs there. Okay. So, but other than that, I normally didn't have project bags. What I would do is I would put my project bags in bags. My husband loves buying bags. He loves it. So we went to Death Valley and he got this sort of messenger bag that is pretty. I loved it too. At the time he wanted to buy two because there was another one with a different color that he liked better. And I said no. And it was a good thing because he never uses this. So we don't need two. Instead, I am using it for my half and half shawl. So my half and half shawl, I'm using the Knit Picks yarn. It's, I think, a worsted weight, so it's heavy. And this was not supposed to be a fast project. This was supposed to be a very slow when I'm doing nothing. But when spring comes, we get a lot of guests in the house. And so when I'm talking to people or when we are playing cards, I can knit this. So I'm almost done. I'm trying not to work on it because this is for those specials, but that's what I need to do to finish it. A few things about this. Normally you do knit all rows. That's how most people that do continental knitting do their half and half shawl. But I knit Portuguese style, and Portuguese style, it's easier to purl than knit. So I did that. The thing is, I think when you do all knits and then you do a purl, it has a tendency to flip it this way, right? And it flips correctly. Like the tendency is to make the yarn. When you do a purl there, the tendency is to make the yarn, the fabric, do this fold. But because I do all purls, it didn't do that naturally. So it's gonna be, it has a nice division. I like how it works here. Like for the red one, instead of picking all the wraps, and I just did wrap and turn, I didn't pick the wraps, and I like the fact. But it is turning this way, right? Anyway, I can use it, and what I like about it is that, so maybe I should have used really, because it's fingering weight that the pattern asks for. So fingering weight, it's going to be a little bit more soft, I think, malleable. I don't know if there is such a word, but I had this fiber and I wanted to try to work with it, and I like it. I love it. I love knitting it. It's really relaxing, as they say. I'm not the kind of person that wants to do it two of the same, but I thought maybe I would like to do one with fingering weight yarn. But either way, I like it, and I think it's a nice blanket for you to have on the sofa. So even if you don't like if you don't want to use it for a scarf because it's a little bit thick, because it's worsted weight, still it's very, I have to take my hair out here. It is very cozy, and it's long enough for me to have as a blanket. So I do love it, and sometimes I feel, oh, I'm so close, I should finish, and then I say, no, you should wait for those days that you have a guest or something that you can't use. So I still need a real project bag for this one, but it's gonna be finished soon. Then another project bag that I have is not really a project bag. It is a bag that we went to Value Village, a thrift store, and my husband found there and he likes it, so he buys it for the pattern because he liked it. He doesn't use it, so yes. It was for a long time where I used to put my needles and stuff. I still have some markers there, but I do have now the 3 yarns that I am going to use. I bought these yarns and they are Heritage Silk, 85 superwash merino wool, 50% silk, and I'm normally not a fan of superwash, but, and these two, they are Color Story yarn, hand painted sock. Just see here. I believe they are superwash too. So they are also Stell, but they are 75 superwash wool, 25 nylon, polyamide. So these are the 3 skeins that I'm going to knit a shawl from Paula Pereira. Is a Brazilian designer. I do love her designs. The sweater that I did that had a collar yoke was her design, and it was really nice to knit. So this is going to be her design. I'll put in the link. Then I have this shawl that there was this Brazilian that I discovered on Instagram, and she was doing a 5 days, 5 shawls challenge, but she was making the little ones, and I worked on 3 of the formats, and I thought this is a little bit too small, and I decided that I was going to put a lace thing at the bottom. This is not hard to do. I worked on my Japanese book of patterns, but I don't quite like it. So because I don't quite like it, this is going to stay here for a long time. It's not, again, it's not a project bag per se, but I'm keeping it in here. So this is something that I'm not in a hurry and I'm not too concerned. Now, before I talk about the project bags and work in progress that my husband gave me, I would like to talk about this beautiful project bags that Mariana from Meias Marias, it's a Portuguese speaking podcast, and she sews and she knits and she crochets too very well. But for me, the thing that she inspires me most is the sewing part. At this moment, I don't have a sewing machine. My husband does, but his is more like an industrial machine to work with leather. But she was so nice that she sent me the 2 bags. She sent me a letter, and that felt so good. You know, we are so used to emails and stuff, and then when we have a letter that follows it, it's amazing, the feeling. Like the time that the person made for something for you, to write something for you, the details. So I have the envelope, and then she made me this. This was very interesting because I thought, oh, this is to put on the shawl, right? And there is this clip, and I put on the shawl like this. I just put it like that on the shawl and typed it. And then I saw that it has a safety pin. So this, I could even put on my hair if I wanted. You know, I thought this was very interesting. And I'm sure she made it completely. So that was pretty cool. And she also sent me some tea. So that's pretty cool. I love teas. So it's very nice. I think what got to me was the caring. Like, we watch each other's YouTube all the time. And then she decided to send it to me. And I'm so grateful for the bags. And I thought, how can I retribute such a good gesture? And what I'm doing is this 4 skeins. I'm not done yet with them, but as soon as I have them ready, I will send it to her as a thank you. But this doesn't express how I felt for her sending me all these things. I'm part of a community, the Portuguese podcast community, the Portuguese knitting community. It was so nice to feel that somebody dedicates a lot of her time to me. So thank you very much, Mariana. I think you watched the Portuguese version, but either way, thank you. So the little bag that she sent me has my latest acquisition. So when I did one of my shawls, I finished it, and the mystery shawl, the pattern was asking for 3 skeins of each color. I used 1.5 of one color and a little bit more than 1.5 because I added a little bit more to the shawl. And then I had 2 skeins left over. So I went back to Halliburton, it's Jen Knits, and she exchanged the yarns for me. So those 2 that I haven't used, she allowed me to exchange for other things. And what I wanted to say is that normally I'm very fast in everything I do, and including shopping. Like, I go, I look, I know what I want, I get, and I'm out of the place in less than 20 minutes. I stayed 1 hour there. And the reason for me to, my husband is saying 2, but it was not 2. The reason for me to spend so much time in there is because, first of all, her yarn selection is huge. But then every yarn that she has, she also sells garments. So when you were talking about your yarn, she says, oh, I did this with this yarn, I did this with this yarn. So it's very good because you can have an idea of how the yarn is going to come out. She had a speckled yarn there, and she showed me not only a sweater that she had done, but she showed me in the magazine also when you had only that color. So that took me a while to leave the store, because the store is beautiful, and she was so helpful showing me what each yarn can give to the rest. And so there I got this mohair. I got 3 balls, and I'm using this bag to keep them safe because I don't want them to get damaged or dusty or anything. And I have my Cotswold that I got from my husband that I haven't, the fleece, I washed it, but I haven't spun it yet. But I'm thinking I'm going to spin something there and then add this gray mohair to it, just to get a fuzz on it. So this is my first bag. This is my second bag. And my second bag is Fios da Fazenda that I bought and they sent to me here in Canada. And I haven't started the sweater yet. I'm not sure which sweater I'm going to make with it, so I'm keeping it. But Jen Knits, when I was there, she was saying, "Oh, you have 5 on the fingering weight. It's way too much. You're gonna have a lot of leftover for your yarn." So then I got this that I think is gonna work well. If I have leftovers, I can make something together. Hopefully I will have leftovers. So that was pretty good. I'm happy. And this is bamboo pop sock. So if I don't have enough, I can even do socks using both, because bamboo doesn't have elasticity memory and wool has, so maybe I can work something with it. I'm not sure yet. And then I got a few things. I returned 2 skeins and I got a lot of stuff. So this is for a tea. I just saw kind of blink here. Oh no, this is for the rack, thank Lord. So this is for a tea for summer. I never knitted anything for summer, and I'm going to try it now because I do need some nicer stuff for summer to work. And even though I work from home, I do have calls, Zoom calls. So I got 3, and she said that 3 should be enough for a t-shirt. And I think I was taking some summer magazines, spring summer magazines that I have, and I'm looking for t-shirts. I also am watching a new podcast in Portuguese, Nana, and she has made a t-shirt that I liked. And Fio das Moiras, another Portuguese podcast, is on a knit along of camisa sul that is a pattern from Filipa, that is a Portuguese designer. And so I'm still thinking, because most of them have some lace, and because this is a striped one, maybe lace is not the best idea. So I'm checking. Then, because I'm now about trying yarns, so I got 5 collars of Jameson Smith, and I'm going to try some hats. They're beautiful. I wanted to feel the yarn for a while now. Like if you watch Fruit Knitting, like in the beginning, they were talking at Jameson. They went there. Every time she goes to the Shetland Wool Week, there's a talk about that. So I decided to get me something to try. So I think at least one here. So the last thing that I got was this silk cotton. So silk cotton neither has elasticity, but because it's for a t-shirt, and I think I want something more loose than anything, this will work fine. But again, it's dégradé, so it goes from one color. It's more like stripes. So I need to think what pattern I'm going to make with this. I'm not 100% sure yet. Maybe I can have some lace in the bottom. I don't know. But I thought it was nice, and I wanted something fresh for summer. So this is all my... See, I still need some project bags. I have a lot of yarn that I have spun over the years that I want to do projects, but they are in my wool room. I can put it here. So the other bag that my husband made me, and this one fell here. Oh, I'm going to talk about this one first. So when we got the leather, we were thinking, let's check on the internet for some leather patterns, and we did. We looked for for some letter patterns. And there was one, I'm going to put a link to the bag if you want, that had this but is smaller than this one, and also the bottom part was not, didn't have this, so it was narrower. My thing is, I spin my own yarn, and then I have them in big balls that I use that ball winder to make, right? So this is 1 pound of cheviot that I bought top from Fibre Garden, and I spun in 3-ply. And this is Scotland that I also got 1 pound at Fibre Garden. Here it is. And I spun 3-ply, and I want to use them together. So I'm keeping it here already because I want to do it together in the bag. And I'm not starting it yet, but I did a little bit of a sample. And the thing, this is, I watched another Portuguese podcast that is Vão de Escada. And Catarina is the person there. And she did a nice sweater for her son with this pattern. And it is an easy collar work pattern. I think I still need to use a smaller needle. So I need to do. Again, it's Garn Studio Drops Design that you have the free patterns there. Of course, the free patterns is for you to use with their yarn, but I use it a lot with my hand spun. So I think I like it. I don't want to make it like a sweater. I think more like a cardigan. But this is a nice one because it is raglan, easy, and the inspiration I got from her. So it's already in my bag. I can open it. And I have the thing here. And also, it is big enough for me to have my tablet in it because many times I have my tablet. The other thing, the funny thing is that when you see the one on the bag that inspired this one, there is a person standing and walking with the bag here. And I thought, this is going to be heavy. But this bag is bigger than what she had. I have 1 pound of yarn, and it's not heavy at all. And if I want to knit from here, I should walk and knit. I tried a little bit, but not much. You can, because it's so practical. The other thing is, I normally don't like bags. So nowadays, whenever I go out, I just grab this bag, and this is the one that I'm working on this pattern. This is, forgot her name, the name of the pattern too. Mary Wallin sweater. And I have already worked on, almost done one sleeve. And I do love it, the effect of it. This is hand spun, it's my hand spun, and it is I think 75% blue face laster and 25% silk. I'm just not sure if this was not what you say, washed yarn, because it is, I don't know, it feels a little bit slippery. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just wool, because normally I don't like superwash, right? So I avoid getting superwash fiber, and it didn't feel, when I was spinning, it didn't feel like superwash. Maybe it's because of the silk, because I have got some superwash fiber that I hated it, and I blended with other thing to be able to use it. So this is it, and this is the center part. And because this is just a knit, whenever I go to an eye doctor or whatever, I can take it with me, and until I reach to the point I want, it's okay. And the only difference that I did here, I did two things different. The pattern was asking for a body shaping. So you reduce a few and then you add a few so that you have the points. But because I'm overweighted, and that's a very nice way to say it, I decided not to do that. There has to be a silver lining, so I have less stress. I just need straightforward. But I did add 2 pearls here just to give that. I'm knitting in the round. I'm knitting back and forth, but in one piece only. So I put this that gives you a sense of where the part should be, right? If I were knitting pieces instead. So I am glad with this, and this is one of the sweaters. I think it's Norbu's sweater that I'm doing. The other thing I liked about this bag is that I'm getting 2 things that I love together. That is my traveling sense. We normally, when we travel, this is Death Valley. We tend to get these patches. So he put it on this one for me, and I love it. The other thing is, because I tend to get this bag with me everywhere I go, I throw my wallet in here, the tablet. So I asked him to add me just a pouch here that I can put my wallet and maybe the phone and something, so that it's easier to get, because they go down and I have to move all the yarns. But then again, you see, my yarn balls are big, and I can fit a lot of yarn balls here. And that's also because the bottom is, he made a larger bottom than the original bag. I'll put a link to the original bag because the design is pretty cool. And if you want to knit and walk, it's perfect. I do love it. So then he did, we're almost there. He did me 2 bags. So here we have the Grand Canyon, Lake Superior in Canada, the Zion Park, of course the Canadian flag, the Route 66, Padre Island in Texas, Big Bend in Texas, and this is National Monument Bandelier. So these are places, I don't even remember where this is, but we've been there. So I had Fibre, and this is blue face laster that I bought a bunch of it, and it's taking forever for me to spin, and I didn't want the Fibre to get bad because it's opening, so I have everything in here, and that's pretty good. So I can close. He's still going to glue another piece of leather here so that it keeps the shape, but he was waiting for the glue, and when the glue came, then he was with the trailer, and that was it. But he made me 4 bags just like that. So these bags, the other thing about these bags, this is just for my Fibre, and it's great because it's huge and it fits a lot of Fibre. I think I had almost 2 kilos, that would be 4 pounds of Fibre, I don't know, maybe more, of Fibre here that I wanted to spin and dye in different colors to make for Io. So I have it all here, and I'm pretty happy because no dust is getting in. The dust is normally on the top, but not getting in. And last but not least, this is my, almost last. This is my other bag. So this one just has the Canadian flag because I ran out of patches. I have to travel more because how can I leave my bag like this, right? And this is my Fair Isle cardigan that has a hood. So the thing with this is that they said cast on she's numbers of stitches, and the hood is bottom up and the cardigan is top down. So first thing I did is, instead of, I decided to cast it on provisory stitches, provisional cast on, that's what you call it. So I did that. I did 3 rows, and then I started knitting, and then just to be sure everything would be okay, I took out the provisional cast on and put it on a needle, right? So it's here, it works. When the time comes for me to work the sweater, I'll just go through. This one was a thing because I needed, I think, 8 collars, and I didn't like the combination, so I spun more yarn. I didn't like the combination, so I spun more yarn. And finally, I am happy with the combination. But I have here a bunch of yarn, and I have more yarn in my wool room that I spun. They're all 4-ply merino, and these are the colors that I decided to use, and I'm pretty happy with the combination. So this is the hood part of it, and when I was doing this is a Fair Isle pattern. Fair Isle tend to have like a design, and within this design they change the color. So here in between they had a different color too, but I didn't like that, so I decided to use the same color. When you use a design, a full design that has 2 colors only, it's more like a Norwegian color work. So this is not, because of this change, this is not completely Fair Isle. But I think the more important is that I like the color combination and I like how it shows. So then I did that. This change. So the other thing is that this is a hood and a sweater knitted in the round, and you are supposed to stick it. Again, I was watching Catarina. Catarina is Portuguese, but she lives in Norway, and she does a lot of color work, and I do love her color work. It's very beautiful, and what I like about her is that she has a very good sense of color combination. And she said something that when she's doing her color work, Fair Isle or color work that she's going to stick, she makes a purl on the area that she's going to stick. Again, like she does the purl so that she knows where she has to cut the stitch in between. I think when I got it, I was not thinking right. But what I did is I created a marker where, so this is where my pattern starts, and this is where the stick stitches are. So I did my first stitch on a different. So if you're looking on the right side, you have the knit here. I did my first on a purl. And then again, it's not going to work because the idea was to cause the fiber to flip automatically. It will not happen because the tendency will be for the fiber to flip where the it's the same thing as my shawl. So that didn't work that well, but at least it worked for me to always know where the stitch starts and where I'm going to have to pick up the stitches for the center thing. So I think I should have done this in the middle. The other thing is that this pattern was asking for 11 stick stitches. Instead of having 11, I put 17 because I wanted to have extra area for the yarn that when I changed the yarn, because I didn't want to have to weave in all the ends, I decided to put where the stick is going, because since I'm going to cut the fabric, I cut the yarn. So instead of 11, I have 17. That gives me 6 stitches more on each side. So I can easily put my stick on. If it was 11, it would be 5 and 5. I can prepare 5 stitches. When I do my crochet enforcement, I can do on the 5th stitch, 5th to 6th on both sides, and then cut in between, and I won't have to deal with this. What I'm very happy, because I don't want to do it all. Hopefully it will work, because I never did this before. This is going to be my 3rd stick. So that's one thing that I did. I think when I finish the hood and start the sweater, I will do what she told me to do. I will, she didn't told me, she mentioned, I will do the purl stitch on the place that I want to cut the stick instead of there. And let's see how it's going to work. But I'm pretty happy with the color, and that's nice. So, and really the last thing for today is my cornmeal fleece. It is very dirty, as you can see, and this is all wasted yarn because it's dirty. What I'm doing, I had it here. I'm cleaning lock by lock, so I get a little bit of this, a little bit on the lock, and then I have a little comb that I clean this side, clean that side. So I got this done. It's not much, but it's very fluffy and it's beautiful, so I'm working on it. But just when I'm tired of doing other things. I've been working a lot this past month. It's been more than usual, so that takes a little bit of the projects. I have been also having a lot of guests. That also takes a little bit from the projects, but I'm happy, I'm grateful. I have friends that come over. I'm grateful I have work. And Mariana, I'm grateful I have project bags. Thank you. That's it for today. I hope you are all well and that you have enjoyed and taken something from what I said today. Please leave your comment. If you have any ideas about what I'm doing wrong, or any ideas on how to make it easier, please let me know. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Au revoir. Bye-bye.